Hi everyone, welcome back to the channel. This is WatchArc. My name is Simone. I am a 22-year-old Italian broke watch enthusiast. And in today's video we're going to be talking about a topic which is really close to my heart, because we're going to be talking about affordable watches. So if you've been following the channel for a while, you know that I mostly focus on the lower end of watchmaking because I think it's more fun, and because a lot of people can't really spend, like myself, can't really spend $1,000, $2,000, $3,000 on watches. But I think that we deserve a spot in the watch discourse online, and I think that there is so much fun to be had with affordable watches. A lot of people don't think that. A lot of people think that you are better off saving more and buying fewer watches which are better. Whilst I see their point, and that makes absolute sense, I don't really agree with that. And this video, it's going to be divided into two parts. The first one, I'm going to discuss why I think that affordable watches makes absolute sense and why you should collect affordable watches. And in the second part, I'm going to be addressing the criticism that the counterpart says about affordable watches and why some people think that they don't make sense. Disclaimer, I think that both parties have great arguments. Everything is subjective in this world of watches, and that is what makes it so enjoyable and fun to be a part of. So if you disagree with me, please let me know in the comments down below, and without further ado, let's get right into it. So why should you collect affordable watches? Well, first of all, if you don't collect affordable watches and you right away ignore them, you end up losing a big part of the history of watchmaking. Like, for example, if you refuse to collect affordable watches, you end up losing Seiko completely, which is a shame. Like, Seiko is one of the most important watch makers in the world. It has been for years the biggest one. It has so much history. But going even lower, Casio, like the Casio databank is a cinematic icon. Like, it was worn by Marty McFly, by Walter White from Breaking Bad. It's like such an important watch, and if you ignore the lower end, you completely missed that, and it's a shame. A lot of watches on the affordable hand have important history. Some people think that that's not the case. Like, if you want to find history, you have to go to Switzerland, you have to buy very expensive watches. I don't think that that's true. I think that Seiko, Casio, but also Orient, Citizen offer great history. Like, Japan is such an important hub for watchmaking, and if you don't want to spend a lot of money, you can find great watches with great history there. Like the Seiko 5s have such an important history of bringing affordable watches to everybody. Seiko as well, like the affordable watches are so important, and if you skip those, you miss a big part of watchmaking, in my opinion. The second argument is that if you buy affordable watches, you can buy more of them, and you can experience different sorts of watches. You can buy different complications, different sort of dials, different brands, different types of watches, watches for different situations, like dress watches, dive watches, field watches. Everything is out there and can be explored. If you don't want to explore at the beginning of your watch collecting journey and you want to go straight to the luxury, it doesn't really make sense, because you might not buy watches that you like, because if you explore beforehand, you already know what you enjoy, and so by an effect of that, you're not going to do a lot of mistakes. Whilst if you go straight to the luxury, you might do mistakes, and if at the lower end mistakes are pretty cheap, at the higher end mistakes can be pretty costly. So that's another great argument, I think. Like, starting out collecting affordable watches saves you a lot of money at the end, because you buy what you already know you like. And bottom line, I think that you end up having more fun if you collect affordable watches. Like, you can buy watches for fun and not have the weight of a lot of money poured into a watch. This obviously depends on your financial situation. You might be like super rich and not care and buy great watches. That's super fine, good for you, but a lot of people out there don't have the sort of money to spend a lot of money on watches carelessly. Whilst if you buy a $20 Casio, it might be just a lightweight buy to have fun, like as I already said, the Casio databank is a great example of that. So I think that bottom line, you end up having more fun and not have the weight of spending a lot of money on watches. So if we want to talk about the counter arguments, the first one that is said by most people is that affordable watches are a waste of money because they are essentially lost money. Like if you buy an affordable watch and you want to sell it on, you're going to lose money on that. Whilst if you buy a luxury watch, not all luxury watches admittedly, but some brands, you can even make money on selling that watch. The problem is that getting to those watches, it's very difficult in the first place, especially if you're just starting out. So it's an argument that doesn't really make sense. Like, you have to start somewhere, and you probably can't start from like Rolex. It's very hard to do that because of, like, you know, relationship with ADs and all of that. So it doesn't really make sense to say that, because you have to start somewhere, and it's not a problem to start with affordable watches. That's my counter argument. Like, of course, by no means watches can be investment. I don't really see them as investment. I don't really do that, but it's legit. You can do that, it's no problem, but it doesn't really make sense at the end. The second argument that people use is that you buy less watches but you get better ones, and this makes sense. But as I already said, you buy less watches, but you're not going to be really sure, you're not going to be as experienced as a watch collector if you start out with expensive watches. So of course you get better watches, less of them but better. That makes absolute sense. So if you want to go that way, go for it, it makes sense. But you know, you're not going to be as experienced as someone that has started out by buying affordable watches and already knows a lot about the care of them, how to choose one, where to buy one, which is very important. And in general, you're not going to be as experienced as an affordable watch collector. That's something that's important and that you have to consider. So in conclusion, you can go both directions. You might want to go with only affordable watches, you might want to go with only very expensive watches. The ideal is to go for both, I think, but if you're not in a position to spend a lot of money like I am, it's fine, and you don't have to feel lessened by that. Like, you're not lesser of a person if you buy affordable watches, and more importantly, I think that this is very important to underline, you're not less of a watch enthusiast if you buy just Japanese watches, straight up Japanese quartz watches. It doesn't make you less of a watch collector. You're still a watch collector, you're still a watch enthusiast, you just buy different sorts of watches, and that's super fine. You don't have to feel like you have to own expensive automatic Swiss watches to be a watch enthusiast. We all are, and we all are part of this beautiful watch world, which is very fun. Just be cool and don't worry about the money that you pour into it. Every sort of watches, it's a worthy watch, it's a serious watch, and it all makes sense. So don't worry, buy what you like and be cool about it. So this concludes today's video for me. Thank you very much for watching. Let me know in the comments down below what your thoughts are. Do you collect affordable watches? Do you collect expensive watches? Do you collect both? Let me know. I'm really curious. So thank you very much for watching. This has been WatchArc. My name is Simone. I am a 22-year-old Italian broke watch enthusiast.